Good evening. Welcome to Alamo Drafthouse and tonight's screening of John Ford's My Darling Clementine. My name is Stephen DeRosa. I've been your host for a number of these Western Wednesdays. I'm very happy to be doing this one. This is one of the many versions, the retellings of the Wyatt Earp saga and the gunfight at the OK Corral. When this came out, there had already been at least two versions, two other films, both called Frontier Marshal, 1934 and 1939. The latter one was with Randolph Scott playing Wyatt Earp and Cesar Romero playing Doc Holliday. After this one, 1946, probably most famously, was Gunfight at the OK Corral. Technicolor, VistaVision, Hal Wallace produced vehicle for Burt Lancaster as Wyatt Earp and Kirk Douglas in the Doc Holliday role. And in the 1990s, there were two films. Tombstone, probably a lot of you have seen Tombstone, right? And then, of course, the Lawrence Kasdan Wyatt Earp with Kevin Costner and Dennis Quaid. I recently saw the Wyatt Earp film, the 1994 Lawrence Kasdan film, and at 3 hours and 10 minutes, it's a big, bloated overtelling of the story, but it's probably the most historically accurate, but I found it to be about nothing. And this film, My Darling Clementine, while it's not the most accurate, it's far from it. It's about something, very much about something. And that's kind of what John Ford was about. He just, we have the famous line from The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, another Ford film, when the legend becomes fact, print the legend. And Ford is, he's not really printing the legend here, per se. He's spinning a legend all anew, spinning a legend of his own, but using the Wyatt Earp persona, using Doc Holliday, using the Clanton gang, and of course the gunfight, the famous gunfight. But he's making a film that's very much about, one of the major themes of the classic Hollywood Westerns is the civilizing of the West. In this case, the town of Tombstone. And he gives us many, many different images that shows the coming of civilization and kind of the morning of the frontier, which is very much what's, these people who left the East to pursue the frontier, they were seeking something, and it's kind of the celebration of the frontier, while also the mourning, the loss of it as well. And in this film, he shows us, let's say you'll see very early on in the film, the new barber's chair, that the barber doesn't even know how to work yet, right? We see the raising of the first church in the town of Tombstone. We have even a traveling Shakespearean actor makes a ham-handed appearance in the film, and very humorous. Alan Mowbray plays the part. And not only do we see the civilizing of the town, but the film is very much about the civilizing of the hero of the film, played by Henry Fonda, one of 7 roles that he did for John Ford. The first time you see Wyatt Earp on screen in this film, he's a scruffy, unshaven cattleman, as he refers to himself. We learn a little bit that he has something of a past. He does have a legend that precedes him, of him being a former lawman, ex-marshal out of Dodge City, and such. And so that reputation does precede him, but at this point he's seeking something else. It's like he's turned a new leaf, and he's looking to make a name for himself and make money as a cattleman. And but we start to see the change, right? Something happens, and then of course he stays in Tombstone, in this wild, reckless, lawless town, and wants to bring law and order to the town. It becomes a little bit of a revenge story, but from a lawman's perspective. And we start to see his change. We see how he changes, and probably more than anything else in the scene that becomes the centerpiece, the midpoint of the movie. With the celebration of the raising of the first church in the town. And during this scene, we have a dance that takes place. So you'll watch for this dance when he's kind of feels obligated to dance with Clementine Carter, who's really another representation of civilization coming to this town. And in this scene, we see he maybe gets the first inklings of being in love, of having feelings of love, and we start to see him change in a major way. And it's pure John Ford. These moments like this, just as much as Monument Valley, which is going to loom large in this film, and many of his films, many of his westerns, it's moments like that that are pure John Ford. So look out for that. I'll leave it at that. I'll just make a little announcement on in 2 weeks' time. On Wednesday, I'll be here for the 50th anniversary screening of True Grit, the original, with John Wayne. And then the week after that, April 3rd, we have Technicolor Joan Crawford, way out there Western Johnny Guitar. So I hope you'll join us for that. Remember, no talking, no texting. Please tip your serve as well, and enjoy the show.